Tomorrow at 9 o'clock Pacific, 12 o'clock Eastern, we're going to begin a Trumpathon. All day Trump. All things Trump. Everything that might come from this election. Joel Salatin, famous regenerative agriculture guy, is going to be part of the USDA advisory board. We're going to talk about, right now I want to talk about money and finance, but the implications for what Trump is doing are related to blockchain and crypto, and it goes like this. He's going to decentralize and blow things apart just for the sake of doing it. So let's talk about finance for a minute. But again, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 Eastern, the Trumpathon. Let's talk about money. Jay Powell said today, President Trump can't fire me, it's against the law. Okay? And you know what that means. Is that those kind of challenges, Trump lives for that shit. But think about this, Linda. Let me tell you something, Linda. The money part might be the most important part of this. If you get time this weekend between college football and the NFL, watch the movie Lincoln. If not, just watch some of the things here on TikTok, the little vignettes. And let me remind you that at the end of the war, Lincoln said, the most important piece of advice I got during the war was from Colonel Taylor, who said I could print my own money. You know what I'm getting at? This is a very complicated subject. But somebody controls the money, okay? Somebody controls the national money printer. And Jay Powell said, he can't fire me, okay? What's going to happen is a lot like the movie Lincoln, we're going to go into Reconstruction. They might get rid of Smithfield Foods, which is 60% of the pork market, for example. It's owned by China. The reason it's owned by China is because one day they woke up and the Yangtze or the Yellow River was flowing dead hogs for days on end because of some flu that went through hog barns somewhere in China. The next day, they made an offer for Smithfield Foods for 60% over the price. Everything has been consolidated by this corporate, globalist, deep state blob thing, and Trump is going to just fucking blow it apart just for the sake of blowing it apart. He has Tulsi Gabbard, Bobby Kennedy, Elon Musk on his side, Joel Salatin. It's going to go on and on. But let's go back to the money, because I think that's the hardest part to think about. Interest rates are going up because they can see that what he's going to do is not going to cover the deficit anymore. Now, luckily, the dollar's strong. They lowered interest rates again, and the dollar went up, but longer-term interest rates are going up. If that gets worse, you could see mortgage rates at 7%, 8%, okay? Bobby Kennedy has already floated the idea of the U.S. Treasury issuing tax-free bonds, like municipal bonds, at 3%, and then lending that into the market without any banks involved, without the Fed involved, like recreating the mortgage market. You see where I'm going with this? This is called money markets and metaphysics, the Bruno thing. I think of all the things we have to think about with what's coming down the pike, that the money situation is going to be the biggest issue. And that there's going to be some contest between the Fed and the Trump administration, between the Trump administration and the banking industry, between who gets to decide where the money comes from and where it goes. This is not a left-right thing. This is not trans and global warming and abortion and all these things that everybody gets all worked up about that really are never going to be solved. We're not going to change the temperature of the ocean with solar panels. It's goofy. It's about the money. Now, the Democratic Party has imploded. The Democratic Party has no national candidate. The Democratic Party is now doing things like Governor Newsom here in California is calling the legislature together to resist what's coming from the Trump administration. feels a little bit like the Civil War, doesn't it? The Biden administration put an executive order in that allows American military personnel to open fire on civilians. A little bit like the Civil War, isn't it? This is the fourth turning. It predicted this. It said we are going to go back into something that's like the 1860s. Lastly, as you think about crypto, don't think of them as currencies. Think of them as ledgers. Think of them as new banking facilities. What we're doing here, Linda, is we're doing funds, okay? Agriculture, energy, housing. It's going to require new capital. It's going to create new opportunities that nobody's even thought about as he basically blows up the deep state, blows up the corporate control of the U.S. government. Okay? So again, tomorrow, Trumpathon. But think about the money, people. I think they don't call this the Great Reset for nothing. The Fed, the U.S. Treasury, the mortgage market, credit are all in play. See you tomorrow.